Hey guys, this video will be all about Chisel acrylic edgers. I got these from Princess Nail Supply. I'll put down the link below. So the first one I'll be showing you is the V-shape edger. This one is the Slanted Edger. Then I have the Stairway Edger. This one is Rocket Edger. Pink Edger. Zigzag Edger, and the Tornado Edger. This one comes in a little case with individual sizes. So I just wanted to show you how they look like. It's literally a wheel with numbers from smallest to biggest. So with the first one, the Tornado Edger, I use a dark brown glitter acrylic, and I honestly just started testing these out, so this is me trying this product the third time. I did a few off camera just because they were a hot mess. So once the acrylic kind of mats down, that's when you know it's ready. You simply press straight down and pull towards you. So if it doesn't work the first time, you can always go back in with the edger and do it again, or just use an acrylic brush to scrape off any extra acrylic. Now you don't have to really clean off all the acrylic because more acrylic will go on top of that and will cover the color that stayed on the nail. But I just want to make sure that the edges are as sharp as possible, so when I do apply the acrylic, it comes out very nice and sharp. Now the color that I'm doing now is a really light gray mauve color, and I make sure it is more of the wet side so that way it can go in between the creases. And you can grab a whole ball of acrylic and put it on top of it and even it out, but then that adds more filing. If that's okay with you, then go right ahead and do that. For me, it's easier to just start little by little, make sure it's a nice wet bead, it gets in between, and I clean it off. So then after I do this acrylic, I encapsulate it with clear acrylic and just gently file off. A lot of less work for me to do, but if you just want to get it done faster and don't mind sitting there filing, then that's totally up to you. As soon as that color mats down, I go right on hand and try to measure the best measurement for it. I press straight down into the nail and pull towards me. Anytime there is still some left over, then like I said again, you can clean it off, but this one came out very clean. You can't really tell because it is a light color, but it is very clean to the point where I can just go right ahead and add on the brown acrylic next. The brown matted down, so now I will be grabbing on the Tornado Edger and putting it where I decide to put it. You don't have to follow any specific shape or anything like that. You honestly just choose where you would like to remove the product and add the other acrylic. And you can tell in this brown how crisp the lines are. This one is one of my favorite edgers that I tried out because the lines just come out so nice. It did take me, this is my third time doing it, so that's why it looks easy, but the first time was a hot mess. I didn't wait long enough for the acrylic to dry, if that makes sense. It has to mat down. If it's too wet, when you put that edger on there, you'll take and remove most of your acrylic that you laid on there. I also noticed that when you put a very thin layer of acrylic and you use the edgers, the crispiness of the lines won't show because you need enough acrylic to be able to dig down and pull out and get those nice sharp lines. So once you play around with it, you tend to get the hang of it. After that is done, I am using clear acrylic and I am going to encapsulate it and simply file this nail as soon as it dries and just top coat it. There is no need for polish, no need for anything else other than that. My next edger I'll be using is the pink edger, which is similar to the top of a heart shape. I decided to use a light pink glitter, something more light and fun, to see if there's a difference between the darker colors I previously used. And you just wait until it mattes down, you press down. This one, honestly, out of all the edgers, came out the smoothest. You can't really see it, like I said, because the acrylic is a lot lighter. If I used a red or a burgundy, you would be able to notice it more. But the lines are so sharp, they came out awesome. This edger only has that heart shape, so you can't make the ends of a heart. So I used X-Acto blade, which you will see in the next clips, to make that nice sharp, to make it look like a heart. But you can keep doing that nice heart shape if you would like. You can always mix the edgers if you would like. But this one is honestly, I think, the easiest and most sharpest edger there is. Even though the previous one is I guess my favorite, because it's just so different, and if you sit there and actually do with the blade, you would take forever to do it instead of just using the edgers to sharpen it. So I used the pink edger again just to start making the outline of the heart, because I wanted the outline to be more of a dark pink, and it is glitter. I did notice that glitters are a little bit harder to get a crisp line with because they are thicker. So I did notice that the darker the color, or the brighter the color, like a white with no glitters, just have a lot more sharpness, and the picture and the image just comes out so much better. When there is glitter, or the color is more on the opaque side, then the lines don't look as sharp. And this is the X-Acto blade I got from Amazon. They also have it at Walmart for $2.30 or so. I'm pretty sure it's $2.30. They are really inexpensive as long as you dull them before you use on a person, because these are extremely sharp. You can't cut someone, but this helps you clean up any lines to make them sharp, or make any new designs. This is what I use when I do any kind of acrylic designs. I was supposed to encapsulate, but I decided to put a little bit more of that glitter on top just to make the top pop, because it was too dulled down. Now the new edger I'll be using is the Rocket Edger. This one is, in all honesty, the one that gave me such a hard time. It was a pain in the butt to do. It just was not sharp. It's supposed to be a very, think of it like lightning, how sharp lightning pictures are. This was not sharp at all. The lines were not sharp. I had to go in there with the blade and specifically sharpen every single corner to make sure that the design stays. I tried this about 5 times and it just would not come out. Maybe it is me, maybe this color that I was using was not meant to be used with this kind of edger, but this one was a pain in the butt to do. At the end it did come out nice, but this one was the hardest of all the edgers for me to work with. As you can see, the brown glitter came out a little bit better than the orange, just a little bit, but you can still see they do not look sharp at all. They just look, I can't explain it, more of a rounded, but in the picture and the stencil actually looks very sharp. So I had to go in there and make the lines really sharp to make it look like a thunder sort of shape. I'm done with my color acrylic. I go on ahead and encapsulate with clear acrylic. The next edger I'll be using is the Slanted Edger, and all my color acrylics that I am using, I will be listing them below. Any of the ones that you don't see listed below is because I personally made them. Specifically, all the glitters are the ones that I mostly make. The color ones, solid color ones, are the ones I get from Glam Glitz, and I'll list them below. With this edger, I noticed that when I press down, for some reason it pushes the acrylic backwards, so it does a little lift, if that makes any sense. So that was annoying a little bit, but it might have been me, or I might have just not waited long enough for the acrylic to dry and move the acrylics. So as you see, I wait a little bit longer with the white, and I make sure that it is not me. And with the white, it does do it a little bit as well. So I'm not sure if I'm just positioning it wrong. As you can tell, I press down, but then it lifts it. So I'm thinking I might have put too much acrylic. I'm just trying to figure it out, making sure that it comes out decent. But at the end, I liked where this was going, but I don't think the design that I made looks like the picture that the stencil came in. So I mean, I think once you choose different colors as well, that might change. But the glitters work really well with this one. I mean, the way the solid color works, the glitters come out the same. There is no difference like the other ones. So this is pretty cool for when you want to make like a holiday type of nail, I think. The next edger I'll be using is the Zigzag Edger, and I'm using this beautiful purple. Now, I think this is one of the purples that I made as well. I'll let you know below if I made this, and if I did, I'll also link the video where I make my own color and glitter acrylics. If you ever want to make your own, they work just the same. I don't see a difference with lifting or anything like that. With this edger, I did like it because it was very nice and crisp lines, but I think the color choice that I chose to do this zigzag edger didn't show off the edger the best that it can. So that's something I did realize. The colors were a little bit more on the dull side, but as you will see right now, the lines are pretty awesome. They show it really nice. I ended up kind of seeing the end result like the Power Ranger type of logo, so you can always use this for crazy designs like Halloween, Christmas, Easter. This would be an awesome like Easter egg design. So this one definitely worth it. You can always use the X-Acto blade as well and just do a zigzag, but to sit there and do that when you can just scrape it off, put the next color, let it dry for a bit, move on to the next nail, and keep going, you would work a lot faster, I would think. So this is an edger that I would definitely highly recommend. Same with the first and second one, the heart one, and the first one was one of my favorites. So far, these three I do like. The next edger I'll be using is the V-shape edger, and this blue honestly is one of my favorite blues. I'm so glad I used this blue because it just made the stencil stand out. It showed how nice and sharp and crisp the lines can be. Now you can do this shape with just your brush if you wait a little bit and let your acrylic semi-dry, not as dry as it is now, and then use your brush to push it into a nice V shape, and then you would just file. But this eliminates the filing, which is awesome. So if you, by using one of these edgers, you don't have to file, you just clean it up and move on to the next color instead of sitting there cutting and filing. It just takes a lot more effort and time, so these work faster. But this honestly is one of my favorites. You can do so much with this, do a lot of superheroes with this, just pretty cool one. I honestly do like this one, and it's really nice and crisp line, even with the glitter and with the solid color as well. The next one I'm doing is a tornado edger. I did start this, didn't realize I wasn't recording. So now I'm moving on to the black. I did do a nice pink nude above and then the black. With this black one, you can tell how nice and sharp the lines are. It's just a lot more noticeable with darker colors. Now, it did make the line where the edger stops, but the acrylic just didn't fully drag all the way down, so I had to use my X-Acto blade to remove that part. You can see the line, it has been indented, but I couldn't remove the rest of the acrylic. I think I waited a little too long and the acrylic got stuck, but thankfully I have the edger, I mean the X-Acto blade, and I was able to remove it. Now I did notice that with the glitter I will be using next, the lines aren't as sharp because the glitter I used has a lot of chunky glitter, so when the edger went in there and removed the acrylic, it didn't fully grab onto all the glitter, so it was a little bit harder to use with chunkier glitter. So I would recommend with really fine glitter or just solid colors, it would work really great. After encapsulating all the nails, I let them dry, and then I simply just clean up the cuticle area, file down any extra acrylic that was too thick, and then after this I will grab my hand file, making sure that the shape is really nice, a nice simple coffin, the free edge is nice and sharp. And I will be using the Shinee Top Coat from Enailcouture, one of my favorite top coats, and I will be sealing this design, and you can see how nice and sharp these pictures are coming up. This is my favorite part after doing nails, just seeing your final work. I honestly do recommend at least, I would say I got 7 designs. I would recommend 5 to 6 of them. Definitely get them. Like I said, you gotta play around with them. Maybe some of them are just not for me, which is fine. The colors I chose might not be right for you, which is totally fine as well. This is the first time I use them. I did have a little different tries in each one, so just play around with them. I am definitely going to be doing more designs, and as soon as I come up with a nice color matching set, I will show it up on YouTube and let you guys see it. Maybe my designs will come out differently, a lot better depending on the colors, but I highly do recommend these. The link will be down below if you do want to purchase them. They are awesome to make designs fast, so it doesn't take too much time. You don't need to be artistic to do this. You can honestly just put on the acrylic, scrape it up, just making sure that you wait long enough for the acrylic to be dry enough. So if you guys did like this video, go ahead and comment below if you have any comments, like my video, share, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos. Thank you guys.